This is the Bloody Disgusting Podcast Network.
We're gonna carry on and plan the sequel, because let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have a sequel. Ah!
And welcome back to Micro Queers. It's your weekly roundup of queer horror shorts, and I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and we're talking It Was Only a Dream, again, in Shaun of the Dead.
Yes, dash a fairy tale. And the reason I say that is because I know that this short has two things that you don't love: zombies and the "it was all a dream" trope.
I will say that in this particular short, which I do think is about 8 minutes too long, it's all a dream actually did work for me given the context of the film. I'll say mostly worked. I still will get into it as we talk about this main character, but I did think there was some innovative things that were going on here. And also, I mean, it's called a sauna, but I mean, I know it better as a bathhouse.
Yeah, that could just be because this is a UK short,
Mm-hmm.
so they might have a different name. But before we get too far into it, let me read you the log line in case people haven't watched the short. And of course, as always, you can watch it through the link in the show notes. So, Shaun of the Dead - A Fairy Tale is a fable in the vein of A Christmas Carol, set in a gay sauna with zombies. A jaded narcissist stalks the bathhouse halls looking for his next hookup. When he finds himself in the midst of a zombie outbreak, his survival may depend on the one thing he didn't come there for: a human connection.
So, two things. One, I did like that this was a gay man in a bathhouse who was very much not into intimacy, meaning the no kissing thing.
Right, and we probably should clarify in case we have straight listeners or people who don't frequent bathhouses or saunas.
That was my next question. Actually, was
Okay.
Well, it was actually going to be, have you ever been to a bathhouse? Not what is a bathhouse, but by all means, give a bathhouse primer. It's
So a bathhouse is like an establishment where you can go to for sex. So it's kind of like the 21st century equivalent of a body house where, you know, like if you're looking for a casual hookup, you can go to a bathhouse or a sauna, and they'll have these kind of cubicle rooms that you can, I mean, I've only ever seen them available for rent, like you got to pay extra for them.
So I don't know if you know this, but gay bathhouse, specifically gay bathhouse, does have its own Wikipedia page.
Oh my God, by all means, illustrate everything for us.
It is a commercial space for men to have sex with other men. That is the basic definition. In general,
Okay.
it's a gay bath is used for having sexual activity rather than only bathing, although you can do both. Basically, it says, well, not all men who go are gay, are considered gay, or I guess
Right.
consider themselves gay. Bathhouses offering similar services for women are rare, although some do have a lesbian or women-only night.
Okay.
Bathhouses vary considerably in size and amenities, from small establishments with 10 or 20 rooms and a handful of lockers to multi-story saunas with a variety of room styles or sizes and several steam baths, hot tubs, and sometimes swimming pools. Usually these are membership only for legal reasons, though membership is generally open to any adult who seeks it, usually after paying a small fee.
Right.
Now, I think the issue here is people are like, wait. There's a building that you can go to just fuck people.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I kind of casually called it a body house.
Well, and so unlike brothels, customers only pay for the use of the facility. Sexual activity, if it occurs.
I mean, the whole idea is like you could just be there to use the whirlpool
Yeah.
or the sauna.
But the distinction, though, is that it's the sexual activity is not provided by the staff. It's only done
Yes.
between the customers, and no money is exchanged.
Correct.
A lot of gay bathhouses, for legal reasons, will explicitly prohibit or discourage prostitution, or they will ban known prostitutes in the area from entering the facility.
Mm-hmm.
Back to my first question: have you ever been to a bathhouse?
I have, yes.
Oh my God! Wait, did you play?
I did not.
Oh, wait, so you just went and bathed?
No, I went to be a voyeur.
Oh, right, because you can do that. Oh my God, wait, can you, what did you see? Did you see sex?
I mean, people were actually quite shy. So I've been in two different occasions. One, always when I'm with like a partner, which is ironic. So I went when I was living in Ottawa just to check it out because I worked at a bar that also, like the owners of that bar also owned the bathhouse. So I was like, oh, I want to see, what does it look like? And it's kind of funny because you go in and it sort of looks like a hostel with, you know, like it had a billiards room and it had, you know,
Yeah.
but there's also, you know, strategically placed darker areas and those kinds of things. So like you could get lost and get felt up and those sorts of things.
Right.
And then you wouldn't know this, but like Montreal has a very active and progressive bathhouse scene, or did. Who knows what it looks like now. But yeah, they've got a couple of different ones there. So I checked out one there. And Montreal is also the place where I went to the Peep Show that we referenced when we were talking in cruising.
Oh, right. That does make sense. I do remember that conversation.
I don't know.
Okay.
I find them very fascinating because I myself, like, I've never even picked up someone from a bar, so I don't know how the cruising kind of bathhouse scene works. So that's part of what's interesting to me. But by all means, tell me about your experiences.
Oh, I have none.
Oh, okay. You're boring.
We apparently Austin did. No, trust me, I want to go. I very much want to go. I'm sure Andrew and I will like do that one day. We used to have a bathhouse here in Austin, I think, but I want to say it got shut down like when I was in college, and it's just not a scene here. Like we don't have that. I am fascinated by it. I do imagine like, well, I would imagine there are more varying body types than what this short film presents.
I mean, the people that get rebuffed in the short are representative of different types of men that
That's
you
true.
might see. Yeah.
I do love that it's like, oh, like, hey, like instead of just saying, hey, do you want to hook up? It's like, hey, let me grab your ass and see what the response is, or let me put my hand on your knee and see what the response is.
It's very touchy-feely because it's not just okay. So coming back full circle to this idea about intimacy and like no kissing, a big part of the bathhouse culture is the kind of non-verbal cues. So it's a lot of just eye fucking, touching, glances, you know, like I'm in the water, are you in the water? Let's go to one of the rooms kind of deal.
And I think that's where I would fail at bathhouses because, as we all know, I'm very chatty. And so
Yeah, you talking this much would be like, shut the fuck up and just like suck my dick.
that's exactly it. I'd be like, oh, like, hey, like, you want to go like,
Oh my God, like what are you into? Are you into rim jobs? Oh my God. Show me your butthole. Did you get it waxed?
You're
It'd be
into
like,
rim jobs
"Trace,
too? Oh my
shut
God.
up."
How crazy of a coincidence.
Yeah, you would not do well in this. So
No,
you would have
I'm
to tone that down.
I'm very vocal during sexual activity, not just like with like sounds of pleasure, but also just like communication. So some people may find that annoying. Probably
Right.
people in a bathhouse would find that annoying.
Yeah, you'd have people in the other rooms telling you to shut the fuck up.
Exactly. I'm sorry. I don't actually talk throughout sex, but I do talk more than other people.
Right, okay. You're a more verbal communicator when it comes to sex. Okay.
Yes, because I want it to be clear. Anyway,
So coming back to this short.
yeah, so on this short, overall, I liked it. I didn't love it because I do think that once the zombie outbreak happens and it's just this guy walking around trying to like get a way out, I didn't think those were particularly well staged, so I got really bored up until Anish gets bit.
Yeah, it goes on for too long. And part of the problem, I think, is that this isn't a set. So this is an actual bathhouse in London called the Chariots Health Club / Chariots Vauxhall is the name of the bathhouse. And this is the largest bathhouse in London. So it's actually quite a bit bigger than what we're seeing. But I gather that they were probably shooting during the day with this limited number of crew, so they might have only had access to part of it. But you know, it's not meant to be a film set, so they can only do so much with the way that the layout works, and I don't think that it's staged particularly well.
It isn't. I do think that the best use of the space is when they're crawling across the beam on the ceiling.
Yeah.
That's probably the best look for me. I don't really find any of this suspenseful because, to be honest, I didn't particularly like the character of Jacob.
No, and I think you're not meant to. So this is actually a character who's played by the director and the writer, Tom Frederick.
Gotcha.
And I did think it was fascinating that this guy cast himself as a really unlikable asshole. But
Well,
he's clearly meant to be representative of, frankly, a racist type of gay man.
oh, see, I didn't even think it was I mean, I get
It's
what
fully racist. It's
I-
fully racist.
I see. I just that's interesting that you think that, because yeah, what I gathered was he was very much like, no, we are just here to fuck. Which, if you're ever on, like, I'm gonna actually use Grindr specifically. I know Grindr is like the app that everyone knows, but it's very much the like that's the hookup app. Like there is Scruff, there is other.
Yeah, you don't need to list them.
Yeah, there's a bunch of others, but I've found that Grindr is definitely the more like, no, it's like wham bam, thank you, ma'am. I've met people that are like super not into kissing, period. I think it reeks sometimes of internalized homophobia, because it's like, oh, if I just fuck a dude in the ass, it's not gay, but if I make out with him, then it is gay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It really bothers me when tops like, oh no, when a bottom like doesn't want pictures of butts, because it's like, well, I'm a bottom, why would I want a butt picture? And I was like, I don't know, because it's the human form. Like, why the fuck wouldn't you want a butt picture? Or when tops are like, I don't want a dick picture, because like whatever. It's really bizarre to me, and so this character gave me all of that. It wasn't particularly a racist thing for me so much as it was like a typical quote unquote gay for me.
Right. I think the reason, is because I did see in some reviews and descriptions of this, is that this character was employing racist behaviors in terms of turning down the only two people of color.
Right.
You know, obviously he also turns down the older gentleman that he first meets in the sauna, and then of course he makes googly eyes at the young white twink.
But then the second that the young white twink tries to kiss him, then he backs away, and then he gives up.
Well, there's two different white twinks, but yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he clearly doesn't want intimacy, but I also think he only wants white.
That's really, that is something that's prevalent too on the apps. I even saw someone posted recently on Twitter where so they were an Indian man, and they posted like in a Grindr exchange they had, where basically this guy was like, oh hey, you're hot, can I get more pics? And he sent him more pictures, and he goes, oh sorry, I'm not into Indian guys. And the guy was like, wait, but my main profile picture is me, so what that's really racist.
Yeah.
And the favorite excuse of those people is, it's not racist, it's a preference.
Yeah,
which is so fucked up. But he was like, wait, so it is racist, because what did you think I was before? And he was like, well, I thought you were like Greek. And he goes, okay, so basically when you thought I was Greek, with the picture, you thought I was attractive, but the second you found out that I was actually Indian, you did not think I was attractive, which is racist.
Yeah. Pretty much the textbook definition of.
It makes me so fucking angry. I hate people sometimes.
Yeah, it's I think that's actually where the short for me does its most interesting work, is this depiction of bathhouse culture, this depiction of men who don't actually want intimacy, they just want sex, and what the distinction is. And then of course this, fun subversion of a Christmas Carol kind of idea where, yeah, we've got a zombie outbreak, it goes on for too long, but then everything is magically solved with a kiss.
So okay, yeah, then what did you think of that? Because, okay, so let's go with this, he's a racist thing. So, okay, he sees the Indian guy, he sees Anish get bit, and he feels bad, he kisses him, he comes back to the real world, boom. He now is magically not racist? I guess that's the fairy tale aspect, right?
Yeah, it's the idea that, maybe he should give people that he would have otherwise passed on a chance. Because he also is nicer to the older gentleman in the sauna. He makes, winky eyes at the other person of color. So it very, like when I saw people say, oh, it's like a Christmas Carol, I thought, oh my God, yes, this is Ebenezer Scrooge on Christmas morning running through the town being jolly.
I mean, yeah, it's also set to This Little Light of Mine, which I thought was very interesting, considering that's really kind of a religious, that song has a lot of religious connections to it.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I think it's cute. I actually, in terms of just the actual zombie apocalypse aspect of it, I did appreciate how Frederick kind of homaged famous zombie films or even games. Sorry, whenever we discovered the first zombie, I got a real Resident Evil vibe. I know that doesn't mean anything to you, but in the first video game, like when you encounter the first zombie, it's very much staged just like that, where you walk into a room, the zombie's bent over, like munching on something,
Right.
and it turns and you get that side profile of the face before it comes after you. Now, Of course, I'm saying that, which is 1996, and it's like, okay, well, also George Romero did that in 68 with Night of the Living Dead and the little girl.
Yeah.
But this is framed very much like Resident Evil, or when we have Jacob and Anish pretending to be zombies, which is right out of Shaun of the Dead.
Right. Yeah, and which of course this short is actually titled after.
Oh right.
Sauna the
I when I was reading that, I was like, why isn't it Sauna of the Dead? That doesn't make any sense. But that makes sense. I feel real dumb right now.
I think every time I wrote it out, I manually put in the being like, oh, they're so dumb. Why do they? Yeah, so it's just because your mind fills it in, right?
It does. But yeah, I think this is totally fine. It's a fun little time waster. I do wish it was like 12 minutes instead of 20 minutes. But on that note, though, I also preferred, just for me personally, I did like all of the pre-zombie stuff with the, like, just kind of exploring the bathhouse than I did the actual chase sequences. I know the tone of this is supposed to be a bit lighter, I think.
Maybe.
But I wasn't particularly captivated, like, once we get past the first zombie bit.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's not really doing too much new, and then because it keeps going, we're left thinking, okay, yeah, we've seen zombie stuff before. This isn't bringing anything new to the table. Also, why is it going on for so long? Like, the zombies didn't look different. They didn't act different. They didn't, eat differently. I kept waiting for a sharper critique about the kind of conformity mindset of queer men, particularly when it comes to, like, sex, and it's not there. So it was like, okay, I get it. Like, I guess we're not doing anything more. Can we just move on? Well,
so leaping off of that, would you watch a feature-length version of this concept?
Absolutely not. I would have rather a tighter edited short than a feature-length.
And, I'm of two minds with this. Because I love me a good one-setting film. I think those are really fun. You can get a lot of claustrophobia and suspense out of them. I do wonder, maybe with the proper budget and the proper sets, if you could do something like this and make it interesting. But, like, probably pointed out earlier, though, is that, yeah, this is a real-life bathhouse and so they couldn't really just make a set around it.
Yeah, and they also filmed this for £5,000, so it's pretty low budget.
Yeah, and it looks good for £5,000. I mean, it's not like super gory, but when there is gore, it looks good. So I'm not going to say I wouldn't watch a feature-length version of this, but I do think you would need to find a way to make the set more interesting and also make the set pieces, like the action set pieces, more suspenseful.
Yeah, or even just more distinct, like not just mindless zombie stuff all the time, like actually have a whirlpool set piece, a sauna set piece.
Yes, exactly. You have a sauna, you have a jacuzzi, you have a swimming pool set piece, like you have the locker room set piece. We get into the locker room. Like, I think doing it that way, like, of course it's going to feel episodic, I guess, if we're going from room to room to room, but honestly, I don't mind that if you do it well.
Right, yeah.
So... but would you keep the dream ending?
No. I think if you were going to stretch this out to then have a dream after too long, it would feel like you had sucked all the power out of it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, okay, listeners, let us know what you thought of Sauna of the Dead, and give us all your bathhouse experiences.
Yes, every single one of them. We want
every single one. No, I'm really curious, because I hate that we don't have one here in Austin, and, obviously I won't be going to one during the pandemic, because, ew. But, it's probably also a little bit ew, like, normally, but I'm not going to judge.
They might be cleaner than you expect, but
they certainly will after the pandemic.
Right.
I'll tell you that. But yeah, okay, well, on that note, we can cross out Sauna of the Dead.
Yes, and cross out micro queers.
Bloody Disgusting Podcast Network, home of creepy, disturbing, and terrifying creepypastas, SCP archives, weekly full cast storytelling, horror queers, genre commentary from an LGBTQ perspective, and the Boo Crew. For horror-centric interviews, listen free wherever you stream audio and at bloodydisgusting.com/podcasts.
It was late in the afternoon when the professor and I took our way towards the east, whence I knew Jonathan was coming.
Jonathan Harker has asked me to note this, as he says he is hardly equal to the task, and he wants an exact record kept.
Dear Madam Mina, I have read your husband's so wonderful diary. Strange and terrible as it is true. I will pledge my life on it.
God preserve my sanity, for to this I am reduced. Safety and the assurance of safety are things of the past.
I am in hopes that I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula.
Listen to Regarding Dracula wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm.